तो ये कौन निकालता है इसे? नो आइडिया, अब आ रहा है, बस अभी आ गया। हाँ।
Hello, everyone. How is everyone doing? This is Simon Dillon. I'm live for my radio show, and we're going to be starting soon. So just hang in there. So it is Heart to Heart, and we go live on the radio in 1 minute and 42 seconds. Hello, कैसे हैं सब लोग? We are live and we are about to start the radio show, so I'll be with you in just a moment.
Hi everyone, this is Kalpana again, back on air.
कैसे हैं सब लोग? This is Saima Dillon, and you're listening to Heart. And with me, I have my wonderful co-host in the studio. Hey, Kalpana.
Hey Saima, how are you doing? This is one and only Saloni RJ Kalpana. आते हैं हम हर थर्सडे 1 बजे से लेकर 3 बजे तक प्रोग्राम हार्ट टू हार्ट, जिसमें इस बार हम बात करने वाले हैं
We are talking about anger. We are actually going to continue our discussion from last week, and since last week we were talking about this book, which is on anger, and we have been discussing anger and how lethal anger is, and how anger it destroys and devastates relationships.
Absolutely, and that's something we all have the seed of anger in us. Or apart from seed of anger, we also have a seed of compassion, seed of joy. It just matters at which one we want to flourish more, which one we are watering more, unconsciously or consciously. देखो किसी लोगों को तो दिन में ये एक बार तो गुस्सा आ जाता है, कुछ लोगों को हर बार गुस्सा आता है, और किसी को यानी कि बहुत मुश्किल होता है गुस्सा दिलाना, क्योंकि वो दे हैव देयर कंपोज्ड विद इन देमसेल्व्स, उन्हें किसी बात पे गुस्सा नहीं आता। तो इसकी वजह ये होती है कि सिचुएशन सेम होती है साइमन, लेकिन इंसान का परसेप्शन अलग होता है, जिस तरह से वो रिसीव करते हैं सिचुएशन को, और उसे प्रैक्टिस अनदर थिंग कि हम किस तरह से प्रैक्टिस करते हैं वो भी बहुत मैटर करता है, क्योंकि विदाउट प्रैक्टिस कोई भी, चाहे वो प्यार हो या गुस्सा हो, हम सही से रिफ्लेक्ट नहीं कर पाते हैं। तो ये प्रैक्टिस बहुत ज़रूरी है। और ये जो किताब हम बात कर रहे हैं, एंगर बाय थिच नैट हान, विच इज अ वेरी रिनाउंड ऑथर ऑफ बुद्धिज्म, और ये भी कहा जाता है कि यूएस में, यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स में बुद्धिज्म का जो इन्फ्लुएंस ज़्यादातर आया है ये इस ऑथर की वजह से। इन्होंने फ्रांस में एक विलेज खोला था जिसका नाम है प्लम विलेज, और वहाँ पे प्रैक्टिसेस अभी भी होती हैं, जहाँ पे लोग जो है माइंडफुल ब्रीदिंग एंड माइंडफुलनेस के बारे में बात करते हैं, आर्ट ऑफ लिविंग की बात करते हैं। और आज हम बात कर रहे हैं एंगर, यानी कि गुस्सा अगर आता है तो क्यों आता है, किस बात पे आता है, इसे जानना बहुत ज़रूरी है। इसके बारे में हम आज कंटिन्यू करेंगे ये प्रोग्राम, क्योंकि पिछले हफ्ते भी इसके बारे में हमने बात किया था।
Absolutely. We always say कि mind, body, soul, everything needs to be in sync for us to function as a happy, as a peaceful individual. और जब इन चीज़ों में से कोई भी चीज़ in place नहीं होती right तरीके से, तो it causes problems, and हमारे अंदर जितनी frustrations भरी हुई होती हैं, हमारे अंदर जितनी जिस चीज़ की भी कमी हमारी खुद के अंदर हम feel कर रहे होते हैं, then वो जो वो जो gaps हैं, they start manifesting itself in the form of anger and frustration, and all these negative emotions, they manifest itself, and वो बाहर उभरना शुरू हो जाते हैं. मगर unfortunate चीज़ ये है कि जब anger lash out होती है, तो it destroys everything which is good in the path, and but the thing is कि आप इस energy को, you can convert this energy into positive energy, and ये जो anger की force है within us, जब हमारे अंदर anger होती है, instead of utilizing that anger towards hatred, towards taking revenge, towards these negative emotions, we can actually convert anger, that positive energy, into something powerful, and into something which is life changing, and into something which is like you mentioned last time, it's एक lotus जो है जिस तरह से वो
no mud no flower.
Exactly.
By Thich Nhat Hanh, the no mud no lotus. That's a book again by him. And again, one more thing which is interesting is हम किसी भी जितने जोर से बात करते हैं ना, उस इंसान पे उतना कम इफेक्ट होता है, और जितनी धीरे से हम बात करते हैं उतना ज़्यादा इफेक्ट होता है. और अगर बात बिल्कुल ना करे तो वो अलग बात है, बिकॉज देयर इज अ पर्सन कॉल्ड Ramana Maharishi. South में some people believe in that, and he was always believes in silence. कि people will understand without words. You need to just reflect yourself. और गुस्सा जब दिलाते हैं साइमा, किसी पे भी गुस्सा आता है, so it doesn't destroy the other person, it destroys you more than.
Of course.
Once you realize that, that's when you understand that that's actually internally, it's actually destroying your own emotions, your own mind, body, soul, the connectivity of it. So that's very important to understand. And we all practice the only thing: mindful breathing, mindful walking, mindful, just listen to your thoughts is more important, and that's what we're going to unfold more about this book during the course of this time.
बिल्कुल, ये जितने नेगेटिव इमोशंस हैं हमारे अंदर, राइट, वो चाहे जेलसी है, वो एनवी है, वो हेट्रेड है, वो एंगर है, राइट, जितने नेगेटिव इमोशंस हैं, दे डिस्ट्रॉय अस. वो हम चाहे अब दूसरों के ऊपर उनका इजहार करें, हम दूसरों के ऊपर उनको निकालें, मगर वो सब चीज़ें हमारे खुद के अंदर हमें डिस्ट्रॉय कर रही हैं. And it's an indication when you see people around who you see that they are angry all the time. The thing is that you can't run away from them. If it's your child, if it's a sibling, you can't run away from them. They are hurting internally, and you should. It's very difficult to do. I mean, आज सुबह ही किसी ने अपना गुस्सा मेरे ऊपर निकाला है, and it was बहुत strong तरीके से वो गुस्सा मेरे ऊपर निकला, and I was just shaken. I was shook. I was like, pow, that itni strong energy ke saath, it just came, and it was just it hit me very hard.
So
and
how did you feel, Simon, when someone just rants on you, or just throw this anger on you? How do you feel as a receiver? What's going on in your mind? Do you want to avoid that person, or do you feel low about yourself? What kind of emotions go in you?
It's very difficult, Kalpana, because मैं as an individual, मेरी बहुत ज़्यादा ये कोशिश होती है, आपको दुख और तकलीफ, आपका दिल उसी पॉइंट पे उसी से टूटता है जिससे आपको कोई एक्सपेक्टेशंस होती हैं, राइट? तो मैंने ओवर द इयर्स आई हैव रियली कल्टिवेटेड दिस फीलिंग कि मैं अपने आप को जितना डिटैच कर सकती हूँ, जितना कम लोगों से एक्सपेक्ट करूँ. सो आई ट्राई नॉट टू हैव एक्सपेक्टेशंस फ्रॉम पीपल, बिकॉज व्हेनेवर आई हैव, एंड इट्स नॉट देयर फॉल्ट, राइट, इट्स माय फॉल्ट दैट आई हैड अ सर्टेन एक्सपेक्टेशन, एंड वो एक्सपेक्टेशन के अंदर मैं खुद लेट डाउन हुई हूँ, तो दैट्स आई थिंक माय फॉल्ट, not the other person's fault that they couldn't live up to it, right? But I feel कि जब आपको तकलीफ उसी से पहुंचती है जो आपके दिल के करीब होता है, right? Someone that you love and someone who's close to you, and you're like, okay, you're going through your own craziness, and you're looking for someone to kind of just pull in and reach your hand and just pull you out. आप खुद जिस भंवर के अंदर हो फंसे हुए या किसी चीज के अंदर you're experiencing, right? And then that person doesn't do that, and instead, there's this whole outrage of just you're ambushed by their anger, and it's just it's devastating.
I know. Because why I was asking this, because see, these things we face every day. Sometimes we may give it unless you don't have a practice. You may just show anger on anybody, your children, your spouse, your boss, your employee, or anybody. और कभी कभी रोड पे हम चलते हैं तो कोई सामने वाला ठीक से ड्राइव नहीं करता तो उस पर गुस्सा आ जाता है, हमें गाली निकल जाती है, ऐसे हो जाता है कभी कभार. लेकिन द थिंग इज कि जैसे हमने कहा था कि जब तक हम प्रैक्टिस नहीं करते साइमा, दो चीजें होती हैं. या तो आप जो है, जो भी इंसान आप पे गुस्सा कर रहा है, इफ यू आर द पर्सन हु इज रिसीविंग दैट इमोशन, so you have the two choices, and that's what happens normally is outside कि या तो आप उसको आप you can just laugh on that, you just smile on that कि ठीक है वो गुस्सा करे क्योंकि उसके इमोशंस है, उसके संस्कार है. या you just feel low कि मैं शायद ऐसी ही हूँ या ऐसे ही हूँ, शायद मैं I'm not capable of that, I don't have the potential to live up to. So the two things happen, and because of this, whatever the emotion goes in you, you are going to your personality, your behavior is going to reflect upon that. तो गुस्सा जो होता है कि चाहे आप कोई भी इंसान आप पे गुस्सा करता है, तो पहली बात तो ये देखें कि वो इंसान शायद उसके संस्कार ही ऐसे हैं, वो चीज़ों में टॉलरेंस लेवल कम है. तो यू डोंट हैव टू टेक, and that only will happen when you practice and when you understand mindfulness.
And ये difficult है, right? Because इस वक्त we are talking about anger, right?
Yeah.
And हम लोग ये सबको preach कर रहे हैं कि it is not about you, it is about them. But at that moment when you feel just so like bowed, you're like, bang, I mean, you're hit by this huge emotion, and you are like just feeling devastated. तो आपका first reaction वही है, you're like, okay, you withdraw, and आप अपने आप को एक shield आपके इर्द गिर्द ले आते हो, and you're like, okay, you know what, move away from there. But again, what we are saying is that person who's showing that emotion of anger, it is because that's what's within them, and they do need your love, support, and your help. So it's a difficult fine line which I discovered this morning.
No, but I think this again, this book is a marvelous book because it talks about every aspect of the emotion, why people do what they do, and how you can receive, and how you can just put a shield around you so it doesn't affect you. Even you're receiving, but it's not affecting your inner soul, and that's what is more important. क्योंकि वो जो कर रहे हैं, वो जो कह रहे हैं, वो उनका बिहेवियर है, उनका टॉलरेंस लेवल का बिहेवियर है. जरूरी नहीं है कि आप हर चीज गलत करो, जरूरी नहीं कि हर चीज उन्हें गलत लगे, लेकिन किस तरह से हम इसको हैंडल कर सकते हैं. It's difficult again, like you said, but it's doable only with the help of practice and mindfulness.
Absolutely. So with that, let's go into our first song, and hope you enjoy this. It is it's Rahat Fateh Ali, and it's from Namaste London, Main Jahan Rahun. So hope you enjoy it. Here goes.
So yes, my friends, again, this is the second week we are talking about anger and how it affects and how we can smile at our own anger. In fact, and it's a seed that we have within us. Every seed of compassion, seed of anger, seed of despair, joy, jealousy, all this. But it depends at which one you are actually watering more, and that is what going to flourish more. And वही जो चीजें बाहर दिखेंगी आपके में भी, तो आपके it all depends on you कि आप किसको ज्यादा पानी देते हो. क्योंकि जरूरी नहीं है कि हर लोग जो आप पे गुस्सा करते हैं कि आप में कोई कमी है. हो सकता है कि उनका टॉलरेंस लेवल जो है वो इतना नहीं है कि सिचुएशन से एक होता है, 10 लोग हैं, 10 लोग अलग अलग तरह से रिसीव करते हैं. तो इसी के बारे में आज हम बात करेंगे. Stay with us.
So How's everyone doing? Thank you everyone for joining. आप सुन रहे हैं Saima. This is Heart to Heart with Saima and Kalpana, and हमारा radio show है जो हम हर Thursday को आपके लिए लेके आते हैं from 1 to 3, and thank you all so much for being here. हम लोग गुस्से के ऊपर बात कर रहे हैं, और आप लोग जो अभी ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं, मैं कल्पना को यही बता रही थी कि आज सुबह I was ambushed by someone's anger, extreme anger, and I was like, whoa. So usually ये जो anger आपको hit करती है, आपको तकलीफ उन्हीं से पहुंचती है, from the people that you love and you care about and who mean so much to you. But it's उस point के ऊपर आपको नहीं समझ में आता, and you're like, okay, you know what, let's get away. But the person who's angry, that is an indication of whatever chaos is internally within them. So it's a very fine line. अब हम खुद भी एंगर को डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, तो अभी तो पहले तो मेरा ये डिसीजन था कि इतना किसी का गुस्सा जो मैंने आज थोड़ी सी देर पहले कोई 1.5 घंटे पहले एक्सपीरियंस किया था कि मैं it's better not to ever talk to them again. But if you care about people, then you can't just cut yourself off from them. And when they experience anger, it means that there's something happening within them. And so I think by the time this show khatam hoga, Kalpana, I will change my mindset on how I was planning on approaching this whole issue. And, we'll see what I do.
That's the whole thing, because the anger that you just have experienced is kind of like a garbage, let's say. And that garbage, you need to just learn to transform into a compost. Like we were talking last week,
but आसान नहीं है किसी दूसरे की garbage को compost के अंदर convert करना.
No, you're not transforming their
but
their
if they are,
you're transforming your personality, how you're not putting a shield around
yeah.
you, and that's what I'm practicing. Now, it's not that I've never had anger, सब में होता है, and I had anger issues too. लेकिन it's difficult to just get into that kind of seed to just flourish within me. लेकिन even I get angry, but I'm practicing every single day how, when I receive from someone or when I am not happy on any certain situation, how I can reflect in a different way that I was doing before. That is the only practice we're doing right now.
तो आप लोग जो watch कर रहे हैं, आप बताइए कि किस तरह से situation को handle करना चाहिए. The person who got angry at me and just tore me apart with his anger, मैं घर से निकलते हुए तो मैंने सोचा था कि okay, I'm not going to talk to this person ever again. But that's going against what we are talking about here. So then the question is how to deal with it. So we have Ali Abbas, Fareed Khan, Ajay, Irfan, Azhar, Fiza, Abid, Fakhr, Amna, Ali Raza, Feroz. आप लोग बताइए, आप लोग जो वॉच कर रहे हैं, प्लीज पोस्ट इन कमेंट्स अगर आप में से कोई भी join करना चाहे हमें radio show, either right here on my screen. If you want to join, I can bring you on here. Come and share your thoughts. आपका क्या ख्याल है कि if you are exposed to someone's anger, and उन्हीं लोगों का anger आपको impact करता है, the people who matter to you. So how to handle it?
Again, like what this book says, is attachment is something, whether you're attached with any materials or you're attached with normally we get attached with the relations, right?
Yeah.
So, and your close circle, you attach most. So, and you want better for them and they want better for you. But in the process of your intentions to do better, whether it's your side or their side, they don't understand that you're actually spoiling the environment by throwing those words like what you just received. I'm sure
because सबकी अपनी journey है, right?
Yes, I'm sure the person might have used the strong words upon you to show his emotion, which. So another thing is when someone shows anger, Saima, just think about it. That person may look powerful, but they're not. They're weak, because only when you're weak you use strong words. That's the simple thing to say, if I may say so.
No, you are, and it's all making sense. But the question is, how do you go back and deal with people, who are angry and who have just cut you apart?
which says that that person need to respect, that person needs love, and you need to listen to them. If something is lingering in their mind, bothering them. This is another different book called The Dance of Anger, and it's about, of course, it's based on Women's Guide, Changing the Patterns of Intimate Relationship. Okay, so there's a
So we
different
have to
thing
go
which we have
back.
to. Yes, we have to go back.
So that was मैं जहाँ रहूँ by Rahat Fateh Ali. Namaste London. So hope you enjoyed that. So we come back to our subject. You are listening to Radio Caravan, and this is Heart to Heart with Saima and
The one and only Saloni RJ Kalpana, and you can also listen to us live on Facebook. Saima and me also go on live every Thursday. So my Facebook friends and Saima's Facebook friends can also view us and listen to the show, which today we're talking about anger. Now that Saima's just opened this topic by saying that she just received this anger from one person who probably might have thrown the strong words upon you, and how do you receive them and how do you handle them, right?
उनके perspective से they just slaughtered me.
Right.
Okay.
तो ये बात है कि जैसे हम बता रहे थे ऑफ एयर भी गाने के दौरान कि जब कोई भी इंसान गुस्सा करता है किसी पर भी, तो वो शायद पावरफुल लगता है लेकिन वो पावरफुल है नहीं, वो अंदर से वीक है. जब आप अंदर से वीक होते हो ना सहमत, तभी आपके मुंह से जो है बहुत ही पावरफुल वर्ड्स आते हैं, इस तरह के स्ट्रॉन्ग इमोशंस किसी पे बरसते हैं. तो वो स्ट्रॉन्ग तो कभी होंगे, मतलब उस वजह से स्ट्रॉन्ग तो अपने आप को फील नहीं कर पाएंगे. और एक और बात है कि यू विल डेफिनेटली, जो नेचुरल बाहर होता है आमतौर पे बाज़ दफ़ा देखा जाता है कि वी ट्राई टू अवॉइड दैट पर्सन, क्योंकि दैट पर्सन इज टॉक्सिक, द पर्सन इज डेंजरस एंड द पर्सन डज नॉट नो हाउ टू हैंडल सिचुएशन. तो अभी हमारा शो का मकसद ये है कि क्योंकि हम ये बात करेंगे किस तरह से हम उस सिचुएशन को देखें, उस इमोशन को, उस व्यक्ति को मत देखिए, उस इंसान को ना देखिए जिसने किया, क्योंकि वो उसका जो टेम्पररी इमोशन जो भी उसने बरसाया है, जो शायद बार बार भी बरसाता होगा उसका, या फिर होगी जो कुछ भी पर्सन है, तो जो भी गुस्सा दिलाते हैं अभी घर वाले बाहर वाले, तो उनका नेचर ऐसा है जो वो नेचर को बदल नहीं सकते, लेकिन हम अपने नेचर को बदल सकते हैं ये दिलासा दिला के कि भाई जो हम रिसीव कर रहे हैं वो सिर्फ बाहर ही है. इट डजंट हैव टू गो इनसाइड एंड change our soul, because soul's purpose is to be at peace and at happy. And how can we do that? Only we can do that by not receiving all those negative emotions which is coming up onto you.
It's very difficult
Again,
because उस
yes.
point के ऊपर तो जब आपके ऊपर गुस्से की बारिश हो रही होती है किसी दूसरे की, and you are sitting there and literally आप ऐसा feel कर रहे होते हैं कि you're trying to make a shield and you're trying, जैसे आपके ऊपर आप बाहर हैं और आपके ऊपर ओले बरस रहे हैं, and you're just sitting there trying to protect your, right, you're sheltering yourself from their words.
Absolutely, it is difficult, but it's again doable with the only matter of practice. And I'm also practicing Saima. ऐसा नहीं है कि हम ये शो करके हम कोई तो बन गए, लेकिन हम खुद प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं आपस में, आप और मैं. और इसका मकसद ये है कि जैसे कि एक गार्बेज है, जैसे मैं पिछले हफ्ते कहा था कि जो सही गार्डनर होता है ना, जो ट्रू गार्डनर है, वो गार्बेज को गिराता नहीं है, उसे कंपोस्ट बनाता है. यानी कि जो इमोशंस आपके आ रहे हैं, दिस इज ऑल्सो इम्पोर्टेंट, बिकॉज जब somebody is doing that, it is helping you to introspect yourself, that how I am going to receive. So I think the God or the universe has a different plan for you, to how you're in a test, you're at a test right now. How are you going to reflect by introspecting yourself, your soul inside, and the sink that we're talking, mind, body, soul, the sink, how you're going to reflect that with these emotions that's coming onto you.
So मैं actually इसको life के अंदर मैं इसकी example बन गई हूँ, right? Because ये हमारा second week है, we've been discussing anger, and we've been talking about how to be this big person, how to be this magnanimous person, big-hearted person, be better than anyone else. And अब जब मेरे खुद के ऊपर ये चीज हुई कि someone lashed out their anger on me, so my first instinct was like, oh my God. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to talk to this person ever again. But again, as we are doing this show, it's making me realize that, like you just said, that person is weak internally, may seem very powerful on the outside, but external, but under say whatever the chaos is inside, and that no matter how harsh the words, but you don't abandon the people that you love, right?
Exactly, and that's what the purpose of all this topic is. Saima, because I think what we were discussing last week, and I think you were put at test today to just see कि आप exam में pass होती हो fail होते, it just kind of
बैंड
like
बज गई
yes. लेकिन again हाँ to देखो, it's okay to get disturbed. I know कि you were disturbed and everything, and it's natural because that emotion is inside us and it just come up and then it popped up, and that's okay to get upset and disturbed. But eventually you need to also introspect yourself, क्योंकि हम इंसान हैं, हम कोई फरिश्ते नहीं है कि भाई इन्होंने कुछ भी कहा दे कि हमें कुछ इफेक्ट ना हो। लेकिन शील बनाना जरूरी है, लेकिन थोड़ी देर के डिस्टर्ब हो भी गए तो चलो ठीक है, लेकिन इवेंचुअली यू नीड टू टेक अ यू टर्न एंड थिंक अबाउट इट कि हाउ आई कैन, if I can help that person, if I cannot, then I need to help myself. I'm not going to get drawn by that kind of emotion for a long period of time. थोड़ी देर के लिए चलो ठीक है, आप थोड़े से हिल गए हैं क्योंकि आपके ऊपर एक बिजली गिरी वगैरह, लेकिन बार बार उसके बारे में सोच कर you're only just weakening your
Absolutely, you do have to rise above, and I think this comes from. And I did call I did call a friend, and I did speak to him, and I was like, okay, this is what this other person did, and I'm just feeling devastated. And he was like, uh, if anyone's words are getting to you and they are impacting you, where, because I was in tears, I was crying, and I was like, so he was like, if they are impacting you so much that you're sitting there and you are so devastated over it, that means you need to go and do some more meditation.
Absolutely, whatever it takes, because I think anything that takes to mindful, that again, how they talk in this book, and even otherwise, mindful breathing, mindful thoughts, and there's one beautiful analogy that this author Thich Nhat Hanh given, that if you draw a circle and draw this and cut it into two pieces, so on the top is a mind and below is a store. You're storing these seeds, the seeds of despair, seeds of anger, seeds of joy, and everything. Now the thing is, you need to just think which one you're watering the more, and that is going to just come as a storm above your mind. And then it is called, one important thing is mental formation.
Yeah.
Mental formation is, he speaks constantly in this book, and the plum village that people practice. Now what happens, Emma, in plum village, there was an example in this book that there was a man, and we are going to go on a break. I think हम लोग डूब जाते हैं
अब जब अपनी बातें शुरू करते हैं तो हम भूल जाते हैं, बिल्कुल।
तो हमारे साथ कनेक्ट रहिए, क्योंकि हम जाने वाले चलो कमर्शियल ब्रेक की ओर, और हम इसके बारे में बात करेंगे कि प्लम विलेज में नॉर्मली क्या होता है और इस बुक में क्या लिखा हुआ है।
Absolutely, and you're listening to Heart to Heart. आप हमें online, you can watch us live. We are streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn as well.
So hi Devi and my friend Lavanya, Swarupa and Shweta. Thanks for watching. And yes, today we are talking about anger. And if you want to share any comments, how do you feel when you receive this anger from anybody around you, or when you have reflected anger? How do you feel after you just tracked on somebody and ranted and yelled at someone? How do you feel? You feel low, absolutely, right? So how do you feel?
How should one react, right? How should one actually, even besides reaction, how should one help the person who is so consumed with anger that they just ambush you with their, because we always say that words are so powerful, right? हमारे अल्फाज हमें अंदाजा नहीं है कि उनमें कितना पावर है. We can destroy people with our words. We can destroy emotions, just completely destabilize people with our words. इतने powerful हमारे अल्फाज होते हैं, right?
So when you're talking about consuming, what again it says, again, in the regard of this book, it says you can only consume the more you think of that 5 minutes. Let's say that situation was 5 minutes lasted.
Yeah.
The situation lasted 5 minutes. And if you're thinking of the situation for 5 hours, you're consuming that 5 hours.
Bilkul. So it needs to stop.
Yourself, yes. If you divert it, just saying for 5 minutes that, okay,
yeah,
that person was weak, and the person needed to show his emotion that way.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily have to take the same emotion, and it doesn't necessarily mean that I did something wrong. That's the only way you can not consume that. Even the words are powerful, of course, but those powerful words are not should not affect you.
So, Aftab, I received a request from you that you would like to come on the show. So I'm going to approve it. Let me know if you are wanting to come live. Just sometimes, hey Aftab. So I've sent okayed your request for you to join us. Please come on. Hey Aftab, कैसे हैं आप? Okay, आप मुझे वॉल्यूम तेज करने दें. Oops, I can't hear you. So फिर से कुछ बोलिए so I can see if I can hear you. Okay, कैसे हैं आप? शुक्र, बिल्कुल ठीक ठाक. So बताइए, what would you like to share?
कैसे हैं और किस टॉपिक पे बात हो रही है?
हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं एंगर के ऊपर. हम लोग एंगर के ऊपर बात कर रहे हैं और हम ये बात कर रहे हैं कि आज किसी ने अपने सारा एंगर का पसीना मेरे ऊपर निकाल दिया, तो मैं उस चीज़ को डिस्कस कर रही हूँ कि वैसी 2 दफ़ा से we've been talking about anger. तो हम अब क्योंकि लाइव डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन मेरे साथ आज हुई है, तो हम उसको लाइव ऑन एयर डिस्कस कर रहे हैं कि किस तरह से उस चीज़ को हैंडल किया जाए. What?
It's worth it to speak now that we were talking about last week.
Yes, so we have a minute and a half before we go live on the radio again. So what would you like to share about anger?
बिल्कुल, मैं जो है आपका प्रोग्राम सुन रहा था अभी जस्ट आपका फिर मैंने ज्वाइन किया और अमूमन जब भी आप लाइव कोशिश होती है कि आपको देखा ना जाए और आपकी वॉइस पूरी है और खास तौर पे पाकिस्तान में सुनी जाती है और बहुत ही अच्छा लगता है.
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. थैंक यू सो मच. And आप experience करते हैं people around you who might have a lot of anger?
बिल्कुल, ऐसा नहीं है कि सिर्फ वहाँ पे, मगर यहाँ पे भी होता है और खास तौर पर मेरे साथ न्यूयॉर्क में 2-3 दफा ऐसा हुआ है. तो
कैसे हैंडल करते हैं गुस्से का? जब आप गुस्से में देते हैं, कहते हैं ऐसी की तैसी, to hell with you, or you say, you know what, let this person, I love this person, they're close to me, let them just lash out, take their anger out, and then I will go back and reconnect and forgive them and move on towards bigger and better things.
देखिए, 2 चीजें हैं. हम हैं तो इंसान.
15 सेकेंड है आपके पास.
मैंने कहा कि हम इंसान हैं और जहाँ भी रहे दुनिया के कोने में रिएक्ट तो करते हैं, मगर कोशिश ये करनी चाहिए कि उससे को कंट्रोल करना चाहिए और खुदा पे छोड़ना चाहिए कि वो ये अच्छा फैसला.
तो you're welcome to join again. हम लोग अगली ब्रेक पे जाएंगे at 2 o'clock, so I'll let you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going back.
Welcome back to the show. You're listening to your favorite radio station, Radio Caravan, with me, the one and only Saloni RJ Kalpana, and I have my beautiful co-host.
This is Saima Dillon, and let's touch lives together.
So today, my friends, my listeners, we're talking about anger, and we're discussing a book written by the author Thích Nhất Hạnh, a Vietnamese author, and is also believed that he's the one who actually influenced Buddhism in the United States, and people practice Buddhism in the United States and everywhere because of him. In France, में उनका एक practice center है called Plum Village, where people go and practice mindfulness. And when the mindfulness is there, it's believed that you are in a safe zone. So it's all about the soul is meant to be at peace, meant to be at happy. Again, happy and peace are different things. Again, you can never be happy on anything, but you can be at peace when you are practicing this mindfulness. And it is not easy, of course, like Sam was mentioning कि ये चीज़ें इतना आसान नहीं है, लेकिन इतनी मुश्किल भी नहीं है, इतना मुश्किल भी नहीं है. आप प्रैक्टिस कर सकते हैं और आई एम प्रैक्टिसिंग एंड इसीलिए जैसे पहले कि आई विल गिव यू एन एग्जांपल एंड यू बीन एक्सपीरियंस समथिंग दिस मॉर्निंग. बाज़ दफ़ा क्या होता है कि जब बच्चे स्पेशली
ताज़ा है
आपका तो ताज़ा है, लेकिन क्या होता है कि इफ़ यू थिंक इफ यू टीनेजर्स एंड इफ यू गो टू देयर रूम, आपको गुस्सा आ जाता है कि भाई ये इतनी गंदगी में कैसे रहते हो, और मुझे भी आता था गुस्सा. This just recently I'm learning how not to get angry, and I just communication again when we say about when we're talking last week we were talking about The reason for angry और ये जो इमोशन बार बार किसी इंसान में ज्यादा आता है, तो they are not able to communicate things properly. They expect the other person must understand. कितनी बार बोला, आपको इतना भी समझ नहीं आता, ये भी नहीं कर सकते, वो भी नहीं कर सकते, और ये वर्ड्स चलते रहेंगे चलते रहेंगे चलते रहेंगे. तो ये होता है कि when you don't know how to communicate properly and make the things done, the first emotion comes up is anger.
So ये बच्चों के जो कमरे की हालत के ऊपर I will share something else. के कल्पना, did you know that when you see that your kids' rooms might be in chaos, that chaos is actually kids' room, which is their sanctuary. It's a reflection of whatever might be going on internally in their minds. So you know. When
So I don't know.
So I guess teenagers, their life is going through a lot of chaos between adjustments of school and between other children and the friendships and heartbreakings and whatnot, right? Or those तूने क्या बोल दिया, किसने क्या बोल दिया. They're so sensitive to everything, but it is a reflection of what is going on within them. So sometimes you just have to let them be. It is their journey, and they're going to go through their own journey, and they go through their own flow.
Absolutely. And that's the thing that now I've practiced. That is fine. क्योंकि यही चीजें जो मुझे पहले गुस्सा दिलाती थी, छोटी छोटी चीजें होती हैं, क्योंकि बड़े बड़े तो जब हम कहते हैं कि हादसे होते हैं, बड़े बड़े चीजें काफी लोग गुस्सा नहीं दिला देते हैं, छोटी छोटी चीजें घर में होती है ना, तो चलते चलते वो गुस्सा आ जाता है. अब जैसे कि जैसे स्टारबक्स में आई वाज जस्ट एक्सपीरियंसिंग कपल ऑफ वीक्स बैक कि आई नो कि स्टारबक्स में जब कोई अगर ड्राई फ्रूट में जाता है, सो दे वांट कॉफी टाइम पे जाने, दे वांट टू गो बैक टू वर्क. So this person before a couple of cars before, I think उनका शायद ऑर्डर थोड़ा बड़ा लंबा होगा, बड़ा होगा, and they were getting a lot of things getting in from the window. तो उसके पीछे वाले बंदे को बहुत गुस्सा आ गया, and he was yelling at them. So it's not because the Starbucks people were doing something wrong. It's because this person didn't have a tolerance level. He couldn't wait that long, and he was like, "How long are you going to do?" And he kept yelling at them.
Yeah.
And we were who were just behind two three cars के पीछे में थे, हम सब काम से थे. मैंने कहा हो सकता है कि कुछ हो. So when you think about and give that benefit of thought, तो आपको गुस्सा शायद नहीं आता. लेकिन अब when you don't have a tolerance, then the first thing that pops up is your anger.
So with that, let's go on into our song, and here we go. You will be able to tell कि I am playing Rahat Fateh Ali. तो अगर आपकी कोई फरमाइश है तो
if you want to share anything on air, you can come on air, which is our studio number is 214-817-3333.
And अगर आपके पास मेरे लिए कोई एडवाइस है और नसीहत है कि किस तरह से किसी दूसरे के एंगर के बाद जो आफ्टर मैथ है उसके अंदर, नाउ दैट वी आर डिस्कसिंग दिस, तो जो मेरे इनिशियल ख्यालात थे, आई वांट टू गो अगेंस्ट व्हाट आई इनिशियली फेल्ट एंड डिड एंड रिएक्टेड, and I want to go back and let the other person know that, hey, you know what, if you need someone, I'm here. So we go into this song, but if you have advice, do give us a call, 214-817-3333. Enjoy this. Surili Akhiyon Wali. All right, so
yes, and it's difficult. I think मुझे भी कहा जाता है कि मुझे बहुत गुस्सा आता है करके. जब मैं छोटी थी तो मुझे कहते थे कि इसको तो बहुत जल्दी गुस्सा आता है, नाक पे गुस्सा रहता है करके. But then I'm practicing, and but there are also a group of people who think that मुझे लगता है कि तो गुस्सा आता है. So you always two-sided to some people, because probably again, when like you said, in that comfort zone where you have a lot of attachments, you just show that anger very easily, and you save that emotion. You're not watering it from other relationship. तो ये depend करता है कि आप कहाँ से use कर रहे हो, कहाँ से use नहीं करते, और उन लोगों के लिए तुम्हारा behavior reflection अलग होता है.
देखो वही आपको impact करता है, right? Who means to you, but when you love people and you see those people go through different emotions, right? Happiness, sadness, chaos. हमारी जिंदगी में जब तक we are going to be alive, we go through different things in life, right? खुशियाँ भी आती हैं, गम भी आते हैं, turbulence भी. So when you're going through these things, and there's, even though it breaks your heart how someone else might behave with you, but it's also perhaps it's a cry that they need for you to be there with them. I don't know, आप लोगों का क्या ख्याल है? We did have someone who shared something. First of all, Aftab, Shamim, hello Aftab, Shahzad, Sartaj, Asif, Arshad, कैसे हैं आप लोग सब? Thank you all for being here. So Azhar shared something. He said it's always recommended not to expect from others and be ready for the unexpected. Only the weak don't have the patience and tolerance. So Azhar, ये भी आसान नहीं है, because बहुत दफ़ा आप पेशेंस रख रहे होते हैं. Okay, speaking again, मैं हमेशा अपनी खुद की ही मिसाल देती हूँ. So what I have always done is मैं वो patience और tolerance रखती हूँ, but I think something which is really essential is communication. I think communication is key, because बातचीत करके communication करना is very important, because जब आप communicate करके सामने वाले को नहीं बताते कि उनकी चीज़ों का, उनके अल्फाजों का, उनके words का आपके ऊपर क्या impact हो रहा है, तो then you are consumed with it, and अब वो emotions आपके अंदर भरना शुरू हो जाते हैं, and then unfortunately they do come out in the form of you lashing out, and in the form of you using very strong words to tear someone apart, right? And that's
Because
also
when you say patience रखते हैं, तो again same thing like you're saying, we are not communicating, we are just ignoring probably the red flags,
yeah,
which will definitely will kind of pop up one time or the other.
yeah,
And you don't have to have, it's not that you should not have a patience, but it's not that you should have a patience by not communicating. Again, you said exactly
communication
the
is
communication
key.
is the key to transform this energy. This anger energy is in you, and we have a caller.
Radio Caravan, this is Saima. Radio Caravan, this is Saima. Radio Caravan, this is Saima. I am. Are you wanting to talk about anger? Oh, really? You have to understand कि हम लोग, we are not listening to the show 24/7, right? So we don't know कि क्या दूसरे RJs play कर चुके हैं. But so मैं उस चीज़ को prevent नहीं कर सकती. मैं सिर्फ राहत फ़तेह अली के गाने बजा रही हूँ, one after another. Thank you so much. All right. Bye-bye. Okay, I am on air. Okay, never mind. Okay.
You're a good.
I was about to say something and I was like, oh, I'm on air. Okay, so
अब एग्जाम खत्म नहीं हुआ.
So welcome back. We've been talking about anger, and we've been talking about कि जब आपके इर्द गिर्द कोई हो और वो अपने गुस्से के अंदर आपको वो चीज़ें बोल जाए या वो कुछ कर जाए जिससे आपको बहुत ठेस पहुंचे, तो आप उसको किस तरह से हैंडल करते हैं?
बिल्कुल, अगर आपके पास कोई राय है तो ज़रूर शेयर करिए हमारे साथ. स्टूडियो का नंबर है 214-817-3333. लेकिन अब हम यही कह सकते हैं कि अगर कोई आप पे गुस्सा करता है, आपका अपना, क्योंकि अक्सर आप अपने से ही आप जो है वो बेजार हो जाते हो या दुख पहुंचता है आपको, क्योंकि बाहर वाले कुछ भी कहते हैं तो लगता है चलो बस नादान है या फिर नहीं जानता वगैरह, लेकिन अपनों से जो है वो जो हमें ठेस बहुत पहुंचता है. तो यही हम कह सकते हैं साइमा कि अगर कोई भी आप पे ये इमोशन बरसा रहा है, तो एक तो बात है कि they need to just there's a time to sit and listen. And ये डिस्कशन का माहौल भी इतना आसान नहीं होता है, because again it comes under the big shell of communication, जो बाज़ दफ़ा हम लोगों को जो है ठीक से करना नहीं आता. हम कुछ सोचते अलग हैं. कितनी बार हमने देखा कि that's not what I meant. So when you say that that's not what I meant, which means that we said probably something which either the person took it in a different way, or we mean something different but we say something different. It could be this or that. So communication is very important. Even if you think that you're not good at it and you said something, you always have to have the re-questioning कि this is what I'm hearing. Let me know if it's correct. And लेकिन अगर इसमें emotion जो है वो strong emotion, again this is, see, anger is again something, I want to say that it's an energy, because the joy is an energy, and these are all emotions are energy. We cannot destroy it, we cannot suppress it. All we can do is we can manifest it, embrace it, and transform into something positive, which is going to help us more than anybody else. Because ये सारी चीजें जो हैं, जगह जो इंसान बार बार गुस्सा दिलाता है, तो उन लोगों से अवॉइड ही करने लगते हैं ना, उनसे दूरी बना के रखते हैं कि भाई ये तो हर चीज में छोटी छोटी बातों में नुक्स निकालते हैं, छोटी छोटी बातों में गुस्सा आ जाता है इनको.
I mean, bottom line is that whenever we have different emotions which are within us, right? We are a combination of all these different feelings and emotions like happiness and joy and laughter and hatred and envy and jealousy and anger. And इसमें दो एक कुछ set of negative emotions हैं, कुछ there are set of positive emotions. जो negative emotions हैं, they destroy us internally, and हम उन्हीं चीज़ों को बाहर दूसरों के ऊपर निकालते हैं because हमारे अंदर बहुत सारी चीज़ें भरी हुई हैं and we are consumed with them and they are impacting us. तो जब हम उन चीज़ों को बाहर दूसरों के ऊपर निकालते हैं, तो as difficult as it is for the receiver to tolerate this, but the fact of the matter is that the person who's lashing out has issues internally which they need help with.
Absolutely. See, again, like जैसे कि आज आप बताते कि you want people to, listeners to also come and say what they think that could have been done in today's situation that happened with you. तो मैं अक्सर जो है सिस्टर शिवानी, ब्रह्म कुमारी सिस्टर शिवानी की वीडियोस बहुत देखती हूँ. And so one of the video that I was watching, and Suresh Oberoi, who interviews him in Awakening with Brahma Kumari, तो पूछ रहे थे कि उन्हें जो है सुरेश ओबराय को बात बात पे गुस्सा आता था, छोटी छोटी बात पे, मतलब कोई बड़ी चीज़ों पे ज़्यादा गुस्सा नहीं आता, लेकिन छोटी छोटी बात पे. तो उनका जो ऑफिस है, ही वाज टॉकिंग कि उनको उनके एम्प्लॉय से, उनके स्टाफ को उन्होंने कितनी बार बोला है कि जब मैं खाना खाने आता हूँ तो 15-20 मिनट लगते हैं, तो उस वक्त जो है आप बात मत कीजिए, क्योंकि जब चिट बात कर रहे होते हैं, बर्तन धो रहे होते हैं, तो वो नॉइज मुझे पसंद नहीं आता. आई वांट टू ईट पीसफुली एंड लीव. पर कितनी बार बोलने के बाद भी जो है वो लोग उसी तरह से बात करते हैं, फोन में होते हैं, बर्तन की आवाज़ें आ रही होती है, तो ही जस्ट गेट्स एंग्री फॉर दैट. So Sister Shivani was saying that and he was saying it's a discipline, because I have told them many times not to do it, and they still continue to doing it. So they're not listening, they're not on discipline, and or मेरा staffing, they're paying for that, I'm paying them for that. But then she says very beautiful lines. She said, ठीक है वो जो कर रहे हैं 15-20 मिनट, आप ये कह सकते हो कि भाई आप जो करें तो 15 मिनट की बात कर लीजिए, गुस्सा दिलाने के बदले प्यार से बोलिए, देखिए. तो कहते मैं हर तरह से बोल चुका हूँ, पर फिर भी वो लोग करते हैं. सो देन ही सेड कि तुम्हारी फैमिली में सबको उसी तरह गुस्सा आता है, वो 15-20 मिनट की, तो कहते नहीं, आई ओनली गेट एंग्री. सो व्हाट डज इट मीन इज some people are doing what they're doing, and regardless of how many times you say them, it doesn't mean that they're doing wrong. It means that in spite of you saying to them many times, you still cannot tolerate, and then you still cannot.
So there's something wrong with you when you are not able to tolerate something.
So I understand that you have said multiple times, and they are your staff. It doesn't give you any authority that because you're paying them, so they shouldn't be talking. Maybe that's the time they also find that when Suresh Oberoi is eating, this is our time to just hang out and have fun. Probably that could be the reason. So there are many things can be done, that you talk to them in a nice way and just leave them and concentrate on your eating. If you're not concentrating on your eating, you're concentrating on their talking, chit-chatting, and your energy is drawing towards them, तो आप अपने आप को ही ट्रांसफॉर्म कर सकते हो. जो भी हम बात करते हैं कि be a true gardener for yourself.
Absolutely.
That is very important in any situation that occurs with us.
So Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar is coming to Dallas on 19th May, and you are invited to join public meditation event with him. I Stand for Peace, a dialogue and meditation with Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar at Irving Convention Center at Las Colinas, Thursday, May 19th, 2022, between 7 and 9 p.m. Actually from 7 and 9 p.m. Visit srishriindallas.com for more information. Eid Mela Festival 2022 on May 7th at Mar Thoma Event Center, Luna Road, Dallas, from 4 to midnight. live performance by Alamgir. You can also enjoy food stalls, mehndi, clothes, and jewelry stalls, and gift giveaways. Free entry and free parking for all. So with that, we go into our next song, and as you already know, I'm playing Rahat Fateh Ali, so ke song. So hope you enjoy it. Hore Biya.
So yes, friends, if you want to comment anything on how you have handled the anger by whatever practice that you have done, because today we are discussing anger with regard of this book called Anger by Thich Nhat Hanh, a Vietnamese author, a beautiful book, and he has many books. No Mud, No Lotus, Art of Living, Art of Fight. Well, actually, it was interesting for me to know that Art of Fight, and people also should know how to fight and how to love. That's very important. We just don't know the right path. Thank you, Madhu. Thank you, Rakhi. Thank you, Shweta, for saying nice topic. Thank you, Madhu. And if you want to comment anything, how you think, if you have received this kind of a strong emotion, this strong energy, which is anger, how you think that you have felt, and if at all ever you have actually knowing or unknowingly, because we all show anger on some time or the other in our life. ऐसा तो नहीं है कि हमें कभी गुस्सा ही नहीं आता, लेकिन जब भी हमें गुस्सा आता है और हम किस पे गुस्सा करते हैं या गुस्सा रिसीव करते हैं तो किस तरह से फीलिंग आती है अंदर, किस तरह से हम अपने आप को खालीपन महसूस करते हैं. इफ यू वांट टू शेयर एनीथिंग, you can just comment on the on Facebook Live, or you can call the studio number. Our studio number is 214-817-3333.
So yeah, we've been discussing बहुत दफा spouses deal with their companions, right? जिनको बहुत anger issues होते हैं, and वो चाहे it can be with the woman, it can be with the man.
You've seen this Johnny Depp and
Exactly, Johnny Depp इनके साथ Johnny Depp के साथ हुआ है, right? And also something within our energy to एक certain लोगों को आप attract करते हैं, people who are similar to kind of who we are, and that is that's also something I feel that these are red flags and these are triggers. And honestly, Kalpana, हमारे culture के हिसाब से हम लोग जिस तरह से we've always seen our parents, or we have seen us they're always tolerating, especially हमारे culture के अंदर हमने ये बहुत देखा है कि the men have anger issues and women deal with it continuously, right? Or they might take their,
it's okay, कोई नहीं चलता है.
but it's not
okay.
और हमारे बच्चों की generation अब इन चीज़ों को tolerate नहीं करेगी, because इन चीज़ों को tolerate भी नहीं करना चाहिए. They require treatment, and these are mental health issues. These, going to counselors or therapists and working with someone who is an expert in anger management to be able to help you.
Right, absolutely. And that's why this is happening. A lot of people do not even want to go there, because again they think there's nothing wrong with us. And again, the ego is very good. Like Sigmund Freud, he mentions that ego is, we all have it and it's very good, but the problem is how much. See, balance again, the virtue of balance is very important. If any of, even if your joy, even if your happiness, even if your confidence, even if your anger, if all this go way too much or way too low, that's when the issue comes. When it's on a balance. Now, being on the balance is again walking on a thin rope, right? If you just go other side, you will see the beautiful scenery outside, but if you don't, you will fall this side or that side. That's very, very important thing to know, that balance of any emotion is very important. Like anger is very good to have, because anger actually, in this book they say that it actually helps you to give energy to your body. The exact words that it says, it gives energy to your body, but if you don't use it properly, it destroys your own mind and body. So that's That's very important how much you use it. And it transforms because energy, again, any or all these emotions are energy. You need to learn how to transform them for your sake.
बिल्कुल आप अपने ये नेगेटिव इमोशंस को यू कैन वर्क ऑन देम राइट एंड यू कैन वर्क ऑन देम एंड यू कैन यूटिलाइज tools to help you convert this negativity into positivity.
Yes.
So let's go back into the show, and then we have 2-3 minutes before we go into a break. So hope you enjoyed that. That was Orepia from Rahat Fateh Ali. And so, yeah, I've been playing Rahat Fateh Ali ke songs. And agar aapki koi Rahat Fateh Ali or koi bhi agar aapki request hai, to do give us a call, 214-817-3333. And Kalpana...
So my Facebook friend has said that she want to share that, yes, I definitely went through anger situations and handled it well in certain situations and did not in certain. But I agree, sharing and having a mature conversation really helps. Absolutely, Madhu, because communication again is a key for any emotion. How we can actually put and intuition again. The good thing that I learned about intuition recently is the inner tutor. Your inner tutor is your intuition. You need to
Yes.
just ask yourself that how you introspect yourself and how you talk, that when you get angry on someone, you feel low, you feel sad because you want to say, feel that you need support from someone. कि लोग मुझे समझे, मुझे मुझसे बात करे कि मुझे इतना गुस्सा क्यों होता है, मुझे तुम लोग गुस्सा दिलाते हो, मुझे गुस्सा आता है, वरना मैं मुझे गुस्सा
You can't be a victim all your life, right?
अगेन वी डू. एंड अगर आजकल तो ऐसा होता है कि रिलेशन में दो लोगों को इक्वल गुस्सा आता है, फिर आई थिंक दोनों they throw trash on each other. You did this, you blame, and victim, and then
That's
finally this is what
that's
happens.
poison, right?
That
That's
is
something.
exactly what's happening now.
Yeah.
If you have known this Hollywood celebrities and which is going in court, and you see the trial sessions on YouTube, and it's so sad to hear that manipulation and humiliation and blame game. You just play all this, which probably, I mean, I think it's only thing how we can stop the war before they happen. Once it happens again, all this kind of it goes on and on and on. It never stops until you want to stop it, right? So some people can see this, foresee the anger for this war which is about to happen. Some people cannot because it's very hard to see when it's suppressing. So don't suppress your emotion. Just communicate time to time. अगर आज शायद आपके स्पाउस को आपके रिश्तों को गुस्सा आ जाए, लेकिन धीरे धीरे if you just practice this mindful communication also, it may help your own sake, right? You're doing it all this for your own sake. That's very important. And hi Sandhya.
तो जिंदगी में जो भी चीज होती है उसके अंदर आपको आई मीन हमें एक्चुअली कम्युनिकेशन के लिए इनकरेज किया नहीं जाता, बट कम्युनिकेशन इज की. सो यू डोंट जस्ट गेट मैरिड बिकॉज ये फर्ज है, ये निभाना है आपको शादी करने के लिए ही. यू हैव नॉट कम इनटू दिस वर्ल्ड टू जस्ट गेट मैरिड. I mean, there's more to your life. There's a bigger purpose. There's more to achieve and do and accomplish besides just getting married. So जब आप एक रिश्ते में जाते हैं किसी दूसरे के साथ, then you need to discover each other and each other's likes and dislikes, and you need to the essential for that relationship, the foundation is a healthy and strong communication. And we go into a break and see you in a few minutes.
Absolutely, the thin ice need to break. It's very important because it's not necessarily whatever is going on must go on. Things are changing. People are upgrading. Like we said last week, like how you upgrade your phone, you need to upgrade your personality.
Radio Caravan. Good afternoon. बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. Thank you so much. On May 8th at the Curtis Caldwell Center. Oh, nice. Very nice. मुझे गाना फिर से बताइएगा, आपने कौन सा बोला राहत फतेह अली का? Got it. जी बताइए. तो आप वहीं पे फैसलाबाद में you grew up, and राहत फतेह अली is from फैसलाबाद. जी. For tickets and passes, call Shreyans at 214-499-4669. Oh wow. Oh, nice. Oh, wow. How cool is that, right? या बैठे हुए हैं वहाँ पे आपको अपने घर के सामने रात फ़तेह अली उनके उनके बागीचे में बैठे हुए नजर आए and you can just walk over and chit chat. Okay, very nice. Oh, wow. That's so lovely, wonderful. आप कुछ शेयर करेंगे about your experience with anger and दूसरे लोग जब अपना गुस्सा आपके ऊपर निकालते हैं तो आप को उसको किस तरह से हैंडल करना चाहिए? और उसके बाद फिर क्या करते हैं? But that's not the solution either, right? The solution is communication. तो आप communicate उसके because हम लोग as couples आपस में I think एक point आता है कि communicate करना भूल जाते हैं and communication का lack of communication means कि फिर उसके बाद वो चीजें आपके अंदर भरती रहती हैं and it creates a distance in relationships. और हम लोग के लिए भी ये शो इट्स अ लर्निंग प्रोसेस हम खुद सीखने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं तो हम वी शेयर इट विद एवरीवन सो थैंक यू सो मच फॉर योर कॉल बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया थैंक यू ऑलराइट बाय बाय तो जो कॉल किया था जो कॉलर थे वो कह रहे थे कि जब बीवी गुस्सा कर देती है तो मैं तो चुप रहता हूँ क्योंकि एक ही टाइम के ऊपर अगर दोनों चीखें तो फिर इट्स नॉट गोना वर्क आउट सो इट्स मच बेटर कि एक टाइम के ऊपर एक ही चीखे तो मैंने फिर कहा कि बट फिर बाद में डू यू कम्युनिकेट एंड सॉर्ट इट आउट नो तो वो भरता रहता है राइट अंटिल a person cannot take it anymore.
Impulsive anger is also very dangerous, and most of women have impulsive anger. Men normally stats that men have explosive anger because they just lash out at you and they say, "Do this, this is how many times I tell you." Women take it and they have.
It's so hot in the studio. कल्पना पूरा ही दरवाजा खोल दो क्योंकि इतनी गर्मी लग रही है. They haven't been able to sort out. So anyways, so yeah, I mean, I think especially between a husband and wife, kalpana wo band ho gaya between husband wife, between ये जो रिश्ते हैं अगर एक इंसान को बहुत गुस्सा चढ़ रहा होता है तो उस वक्त it's important कि इंसान चुप रहे but it is something that should be discussed. Arif, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. Thank you for joining in. Arfa, thank you. Ayushman, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. Muhammad Ali, thank you all for joining us and for being here. And we are discussing anger. And अगर आपकी कोई thoughts हैं on the subject कि जब गुस्सा चढ़ता है तो वो क्यों चढ़ता है उसको के बारे में क्या करना चाहिए. Hey Amir, thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. This is Heart to Heart Radio, and we are live on air. So we are going on air in 5 seconds. So welcome back. You're listening to Radio Caravan, and this is your host, Saima Dillon, and let's touch lives together. Kalpana, how are you today?
I'm doing wonderful, Saima, and it's a beautiful weather outside. This is the weather actually. I love to be at my garden and do my gardening. I love doing gardening. So बैठी रहती हूँ घंटों घंटों बैठी रहती हूँ and it's also just मैं एक म्यूजिक लगाती हूँ सुन के बैठी रहती हूँ मैंने क्या किया
Zen mode.
Zen mode. I'm in my Zen mode. Yes. So yes, coming back to this topic of
and it's therapeutic, right? अगर आप को
Absolutely.
anger issues हैं या you have different things and when you do things which make you happy like spending time in your yard and gardening and being amongst that oxygen and green
वो
energy.
चिड़ियों की चहचहाहट भी अच्छी लगती है ना कि ऊपर से अभी I have a dog and he keeps barking at everyone. It's kind of like a no-fly zone. So anyway, so coming back to the topic of anger, again, like we were talking, Saima, men usually have explosive anger.
Yes.
They get angry, especially in relationship, in married relationship. They get angry on the spouses very easily, and they say, "How many times have to tell you? Don't you know this much?" And if they spend more money, if they don't keep the house clean, or if they don't cook certain thing in a certain way, then the reasons are infinite. I think I would say. But women, on the other hand, we were talking about, especially in the South Asian culture, we were asked and told that it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, and they have impulsive anger. It is not okay to take any negative emotion in that way, because everybody, like, we were born to be at peace. We were born to be, our soul is born to be at peace. और जब तक वो पीस नहीं मिलता, हम लोग ढूंढते रहते हैं. तो ये जो गुस्सा है, बात बात पे, आई थिंक, again, this is a beautiful thing that you mentioned earlier, that we were not taught to be communicating properly. We don't know yet. Probably some people know, many of us don't know, and that's why all this discussion go haywire. This debates, this arguments go just my way or highway इसलिए चलता है क्योंकि we don't know the proper way of communication. We just have to practice one at a time, and it's okay if you're upset today. It's okay if you're in an anxiety state, but it's not okay to remain in that state for a longer period of time. You must transform this energy into something better very soon.
So, with that, let's go into our next song. This is something which our caller requested. It's Rahat Fateh Ali's Zaruri Tha. And he was sharing कि वो भी राहत फतेह अली की तरह फैसलाबाद से हैं, and he shared that वो कुछ साल पहले जब वो फैसलाबाद में अपने घर के बाहर बैठे हुए थे, तो उनको नजर आया कि राहत फतेह अली जो है वो अपने घर के बाहर बैठे हुए हैं.
Wow.
So he went over and had a conversation and chit chatted with him. So that's pretty cool, I think. So here we are playing this song for you, Muhammad, and hope you enjoy it. Here goes.
And thank you, Madhu, for sharing that with us. It is really true. We all, sometimes we manage the anger, sometimes we don't know. But I think the mature communication that you're talking, yes, the communication is very key. Even if the communication does not go proper in that first sitting, I think we learn constantly how we can actually use certain words and avoid certain words. That's what the key thing is. And we all learn every day, and that's what is more important.
Communication is key, and this I'm learning the hard way, because मेरा ये कि मैं
We only learn the hard
सुनती
way.
हूँ सुनती
Sam, I
हूँ.
think what I've also learned is, if you are receiving these emotions often within your circle, I think the power, the energy, whoever you believe, the supreme power that you believe, they're preparing you for the better sake. So I think they have something better for you. If
But
you
आप
receive them,
when you keep intaking anything that goes inside us, right? Whether it's words, or it's food, or it's emotions, anything that goes internal, right? It needs to find a way out.
yeah, that's
So
it. If
ताकि
it doesn't
toxic,
transform, yeah, if it doesn't
yeah,
transform, then it will stay inside you.
ताकि
I think it's
toxic
good.
energy आपके अंदर, वरना when things become toxic within you, then that leads to autoimmune diseases, it leads to stress, it leads to anxiety, and ये सब चीजें जो हैं, stress is a killer. Stress, cancer, arthritis, कितनी चीजें हैं जो
So these radicals
stress के
will not
through
go.
आ रही हैं. So thank you for being there, Wasim. How are you doing? बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया for joining. Hey Romana, how are you? Thank you for joining us. So yeah, I mean, ये जितनी जो चीज हमारे इर्द गिर्द negative है, first of all, I feel कि it is, it's very difficult, but there's nothing wrong in distancing yourself from toxic people, from anything toxic. So I'm very vocal. I have no issues in talking about things. In मेरी जिंदगी की खुद की ऊंच नीच, या मेरी खुद की vulnerabilities को, I have no issues talking about these things, and I hope कि इन चीज़ों से जब आप अपने it takes courage to develop yourself, to take yourself to the point where you're openly willing to put yourself in a raw format and put your emotions out there. And when you do that, it's very empowering, because it means that you take over. You've grasped your emotions, and you are beyond it now. It's very powerful, because no one can use it against you. You are not sitting there and thinking कि लोग क्या कहेंगे, because जब आप उस स्पेस में चले जाते हैं कि आपको हर वक्त फिक्र होती है कि दूसरे क्या बोलेंगे, दूसरे आपको किस तरह से जज करेंगे, तो it demeans you. उससे आपकी जो सेल्फ एस्टीम है वो आप डीमोरलाइज होना शुरू हो जाते हैं. बट जब आप ये रियलाइज करते हैं कि व्हाट, आई मीन ओपन बुक, इट्स ऑल आउट देयर, it's powerful. It's an extremely empowering emotion, and that's what our intention is, okay, through this radio show or through Heart to Heart, my podcast, through whatever we are doing to build and to put everything out there to encourage other people. It's so cool. I go wherever I go these days. I have people who come up and they talk to me about my podcast, and they tell me that, what, yesterday, okay, this was really cool, Kalpana, and I wanted to share this. So I went to this. This Okay, let me just talk about it. Let's go into the show and talk about it.
I'm interested.
So, Mohammed, hope you enjoyed that. Rahat Fateh Ali's Zaruri Tha. And we were talking about, kal it was मैं एक restaurant है Kalpana, which is in Allen, off McDermott, and it's called Silver Spoon. तो मैं Silver Spoon से कुछ pick करने के लिए गई, and I've gone after quite some time. तो जो उनके जो ओनर और जो उनका बेटा, I have known them for literally the time that I came here to study as a student. And जब मैं as a student आई थी, तो इनका Silver Spoon उस टाइम के ऊपर रिचर्डसन में होता था, स्प्रिंग वैली पे. तो that was like the first place जिधर जाके मैं कपड़े लेके आई थी. तो मैंने उधर कपड़ों की एग्जीबिशन की थी. एंड तो इतनी पुरानी, तो मैं उनके शॉप में, उनके रेस्टोरेंट में कल गई. तो मुझे था कि शायद उनके जब फादर को मैंने देखा, तो मैंने कहा शायद उन्होंने पहचाना नहीं होगा. इट्स बीन so many years since I have seen him. तो he said, I was like, आपने पहचाना मुझे, this is साइमा, कैसे हैं आप? और मेरे उस वक्त बाल बहुत लंबे होते थे, and I cut them, chopped them off past few years में. तो he was like, yes, मैंने आपको पहचाना, मैं तो आपका रेगुलर आपका रेडियो शो और आपका पॉडकास्ट सुनता हूँ. So it's such a cool feeling कि your efforts, because this is a passion project, and it's a passion project from the heart. And you're putting something out there with the only intention of touching lives, and the fact that लोग कहाँ कहाँ मुझे टकरा रहे हैं, मिल रहे हैं, मैं जिधर भी जा रही हूँ. I have at least a few people who come up and they're like, what, we listen to your podcast, we listen to your radio show. I think it's just so the power of this medium, the power of and we are streaming live on Facebook.
And gratitude to Shabnamji for giving this opportunity to us, and this is really great. Even I see people also who meet people, and then they say they listen to our show and they love it. And because I can bet you that I think me, Saima, and you too, we're doing from heart.
It is.
This is something for our journey also. And happiness, again, we all know that happiness is not a destination. It is not that we're going to find it at the end of the road. Like even Thich Nhat Hanh said, that happiness is not something you find at the end of the road. It is road. It is just journey, and you need to find right now. जो भी आप अभी कर रहे हो, कितने लोगों को आपने देखा होगा कि साइमा, उनकी जिंदगी में इतने सारे उथल पुथल हो रहे होते हैं, लेकिन फिर भी वो लोग हंसते रहते हैं. मतलब किस तरह से आप हंस रहे हो? How can you do that? Some people have that capacity, and some people उनकी जिंदगी में सब कुछ ठीक चल रहा होता है, लेकिन फिर भी ना they are just always sad, and they're always down कि कुछ और चाहिए. So this always happens. Again, In this book there is an example of analogy they given about David and Angelina. So we have David and Angelinas everywhere around us, और इसमें क्या बताते हैं कि David जो है he's a lonely person and उसे हमेशा सबके साथ problem था. He never liked his dad, he always blamed his mom and sister. तो सबके सब मुझे लगता है कि everybody is upon them और मुझे कोई पसंद नहीं करता और मेरी बात कोई नहीं सुनता. So he was a very arrogant person, very self-centered person. तो वो उसके बाद क्या हुआ कि वो घर छोड़ दिया, उसने वो खाली था, he was just living by himself and he was very sad. He was always doing a blame game and he was feeling victim of himself कि मुझे सही से जिंदगी नहीं मिली है, मुझे लोग ठीक से जानते नहीं है, पहचानते नहीं है. And then finally he went to this plum village, and not just for listening to the dharma talk, but he went to make friends क्योंकि वो अकेला इंसान था, फ्रांस में रहता था, अकेला इंसान था, and he wanted to make friends. So he went to that village. But वहाँ पर भी क्या हुआ कि ज़्यादा friends नहीं बन पाए because he was again like say self-centered था, इसको अपनी बातें सुना थी, किसी की बात सुनता नहीं था. So then finally he went to a market, Simon, and there he saw a beautiful painting. And this is a lady on this painting which he actually saw in the plum village. उसको बहुत अच्छी लगी वो, and he bought the painting home. और अकेला था, कोई दोस्त तो नहीं थे, वो painting को ही देखता था. अचानक ऐसा हुआ कि वो painting life and then came to his life and then they had a good relation with each other. लेकिन after 3 or 4 months that lady Angelina जिसका नाम था, उसने उसको छोड़ दिया. उसने नोट लिखा कि I'm sorry, I cannot live with you because you are very self-centered and you don't listen to anybody. Nobody can live with you. और वो छोड़ के चली गई. Usse, and then he was devastated. He said, I'm so lonely. Why this happening in my life? And he was only looking on the external factors, and he was not looking at how he created this aura around around himself, which is actually not letting anybody in this is zone. क्योंकि वो किसी की बात नहीं सुनता है, arrogant है, अपनी बात बनानी है, सब करना है. And then eventually, of course, he committed suicide. And this suicide is something that is happening so much because of these emotions which could have been transformed on time before the war began. जैसे हम कह रहे थे कि before the war began you need to just see these red flags. ये जब नहीं होते हैं तो फिर लोग जो है बिल्कुल डूब जाते हैं अंदर.
Because ये सब हमारे अंदर जितने भी जज्बात हैं, जितने भी emotions हैं, everything that goes within needs a channel to find its way out.
David and Angelina around you. I mean, it could be different people going through many emotions, which probably time to time बात करना जरूरी है उनके साथ.
Actually, it's loneliness is a problem. You know, a lot of people are just very lonely, and they need outlet. And now वो outlet किस तरह से ढूंढी जाए, that remains to be seen. But Indian Association of North Texas, in association with Texas Indo-American Physicians Society, presents free health fair and blood donation drive on Saturday, May 7th at the IANT office in Richardson. Free consultation with specialty physicians. For blood donation drive, registration requires and for free health fair, you can walk in between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. For more details and registration, log on to iant.org. So with that, let's go on to our next song. And again, we are playing Rahat Fateh Ali. Agar aapki koi advice hai on anger for us, to 148173333. And this is Kun Fayakun, A.R. Rahman. Here goes.
So yeah, in France, it's so sad, but of course it's everywhere. But in France, people commit suicide often because they are lonely, and this is what's happening. Especially the young generation who look very happy externally, have so much going on inside them because they don't find friends and they feel lonely, and eventually they can't take this loneliness anymore. So this David and Angelina, the analogy that they've given with this Tom anecdote, it is so sad, Saima, because whether it's anger, whether it's depression, anxiety, they're all interlinked. Of course, all these are intertwined if you don't practice again mindfulness, and it is not easy. Of course, it takes time, but we need to start somewhere, right? We need to start somewhere, and that's what you and me are practicing with this help of this show, even otherwise. And it helps me to whatever emotion you see going around you. The situation could be the same, but the 10 people around you are perceiving in a 10 different ways. किसी को जल्दी गुस्सा आ जाता है, किसी को कहता है कि चलो कोई जाने दो यार, इट्स फाइन, और कुछ लोग जो है वो बात करके सुलझा लेते हैं. तो टाइम टू टाइम पे इस बात को प्रैक्टिस करना, माइंडफुल ब्रीदिंग, माइंडफुल टॉकिंग, mindful walking, they're all very important to practice. I would just say that. And if you want to share anything, I'm on Facebook Live right now, my Facebook friends. If you want to share anything on anger, if you want to have any comments, you want to comment anything, do comment me on Facebook Live, or you can call the studio number, which is 214-817-3333, and we can take you on air. Hi Anshuman, hi Usha, Usha Pini. Hi everyone. So today we are talking about anger. That this energy, which is the energy of anger, how it devastates the inside you, especially, and it creates an aura which actually does not allow people around you to connect with you. And it's very important that anger is important to have inside you, but in a balanced way. You know how you have this in garage, you have this water heaters, and it is a heater,
So
right?
हम लोग
And this is actually
multitasking कर रहे होते हैं.
I'm
यहाँ
reading
पे
a book also in the middle.
ये यहाँ पे
So
लाइव भी हम हैं, and we are live on YouTube and LinkedIn, and साथ में मुझे टेक्स्ट मैसेजेस आ रहे हैं फ्रॉम माय डॉटर के पासवर्ड रीसेट करना है, आईडी चाहिए मुझे आपका, वो चाहिए, haven't you been for 3 hours, and now she's like, haven't you been on the radio show for 3 hours now? I'm like, no,
we still have
no,
30 minutes to go.
yeah.
गाना खत्म हो गया क्या अभी? अभी, right? So yeah, today we are reading, we are just talking about anger, but we're also taking the context from the book called Anger by a Vietnamese author called Thich Nhat Hanh. He's a Buddhist practitioner, and he's a living Christ, they say it. Actually, he's a living Buddha and living Christ, and he just recently passed away in January 2022, a couple of months back. But up until then, he was living, his art of living was mindfulness. The mental formations that people have, we all have that mental formation. It just depends on which emotion you are flourishing more, which emotion you're using more. That's what it matters the most. Going back? So this Nobel Peace Prize nominee, Thich Nhat Hanh, is actually one who practices, who was practicing up until his death, which is recently in January. He passed away, but he practices mindfulness every day. Or not only that, he teaches in families and friends, but he also has gone with governments of their countries, and he was talking about how we can manage.
He was an activist.
He was activist all the time, and he was being nominated by Martin Luther King, in fact. And he speaks about that how one can practice mindfulness and balance these all emotions which are in us, the seed of these emotions which are in us, and it's very important for us to nurture them time to time by a proper way of communication and introspecting ourselves. That's more important, without having any judgments. So this David and Angelina that we are talking about are there around us all the time. You will see, and David's around you, you will see Angelina around you. It just depends on how you cannot avoid them for a long period of time, but you can only just introspect yourself, because you cannot avoid yourself, right? So you're with your soul is with you all the time. So why not we introspect ourselves so we can deal with these emotions? That's you no matter कल पता नहीं क्या सिचुएशन हमारे सामने आ जाए, तो जो भी सिचुएशन आता है उसे आप पीसफुली हैंडल कर सको, इसी के लिए ये प्रैक्टिस हम if you're a book reader, you love the reading a book, definitely go and get this book called Anger by Thich Nhat Hanh. It's a cooling flames. It's a wisdom for cooling the flames.
So yeah, anger जो है, it destroys relationships, and it kills positivity. It messes up with negative energy. And अगर आप अपनी spirituality के उस level के ऊपर पहुंच सकते हैं, जिस point के ऊपर, no matter what anyone says or does around you, it does not impact you. And that is a very powerful message, which when I was lashed out at this morning by someone who is close to me, and his words just impacted me, and they were just they were devastating for me. But then coming here and talking about anger on the show, it helped me process, to cool the flame, and to say that, what, those words don't impact me, they don't matter.
Absolutely.
And what someone else is saying has to do with them and had nothing to do with me. And as much as it felt bad at that time, but you just got to rise above, and you just got to be so strong internally, and you just got to love yourself so much, and respect yourself so much. Okay, that's where that self-reflection comes in. Okay, you yourself should mean so much to you that किसी दूसरे की negative energy, negative words, they don't penetrate through that shield, which is, or that aura shield, that strength, that courage which is around you, which is so powerful, which makes you feel that, what, I'm not going to let someone else ruin, put me down, and negatively impact my positive energy.
Very true. और इसके लिए जो है काफ़ी लोग कहते हैं कि कहना आसान है लेकिन करना मुश्किल है, लेकिन ये करना तभी मुश्किल होगा जब हम प्रैक्टिस नहीं कर पाते हैं। तो इसीलिए हर दिन, चाहे ज़्यादा ज़्यादा, क्योंकि इवन व्हेन वी वर टॉकिंग अबाउट द 4 agreements, it's not necessary that you have to practice hours and hours of meditation. If you can practice just 5 minutes of meditation by listening to your thoughts, introspecting yourself कि कल हमने क्या किया था, किस तरह से हम कल जो है ठीक से कर सकते हैं, अगर आप अपने आप से बात करें और अपने आप को ही स्ट्रॉन्ग बनाएं, तो शायद ये 5 मिनट डेली, 5 मिनट भी काफ़ी हो सकते हैं अगर आप प्रॉपरली करें. इफ़ यू नो द करेक्ट वे, अगेन इट सेज इन दिस बुक दैट इफ यू नो द करेक्ट वे, you don't need hours and hours and years of meditation or practice. You just need few minutes of mindfulness. That's what is more important.
Kalpana, एक चीज़ that I've come to this realization, and it's something I feel that is extremely powerful. जब आप अपनी ज़िंदगी में ये realize कर लें कि जो चीज़ नेगेटिव पॉजिटिव, जो चीज़ आपकी ज़िंदगी में आएगी, it's just part of your journey, and you turn into that person, and you are just going to keep moving forward. And वो चाहे कुछ हिट आती है, वो चाहे कुछ beautiful emotion आता है, वो चीज़ों को you just embrace those things, and you embrace those emotions, and you just keep moving forward and realizing that, what, this is your journey.
Absolutely.
And it's very powerful.
Absolutely, life is a journey. You cannot look for any destination, because even after one destination, you will have a second destination. With that, we're going on a short commercial break. Stay with us, and we're going to discuss in the last segment more about anger.
So thank you all for.
So do you feel any little better versus like?
I do. I really feel better. I was just really. I was really upset.
Natural, because we are humans and we have these emotions, and it's okay to get upset and whatever emotion.
But now I've processed it. It took a little time, couple of hours, but now I processed it, and I'm like, okay, you know what? it doesn't matter. Maheen, kaise ho aap? Thank you for watching. Everyone, thank you for being here, and thank you for joining us every Thursday. We come to you from 1 to 3 with Heart to Heart, and we talk about different things. ये हमारी खुद की journey है. Zulfikar, कैसे हैं आप? Thank you for being here. So ये हमारी खुद की journey है, the radio show or the podcast. For me, it's just my podcast journey started 2 years ago, and uh, 2 साल पहले when I was searching my soul, I was doing soul searching, and I started my podcast, and I started bringing in people, and it was just extremely powerful. हर हफ्ते एक guest आता था who would spend an hour with me, who would spend this hour teaching me how to become a better version of myself. And I was like a sponge, जो सबकी बातें मैं उस वक्त सुनती थी, एंड जो भी वो बोल रहे होते थे. एंड द बेस्ट पार्ट वाज कि क्योंकि मैं अपने घर से ये पॉडकास्ट कर रही होती थी, तो आई वुड I would my kids would be listening to the guests and myself, and that interaction and the discussion, and I feel that was just that extremely positive energy for that 1 hour. वो 1 घंटे के लिए जो guests आते थे मेरे podcast पे, and they would help me so much, and week after week, just that amazing wealth of amazing wealth of knowledge that would come, and help us learn and become a better version of ourselves. So it's been such a wonderful journey, meeting different people and learning from all these different experts. अपनी पर्सनल ग्रोथ के अंदर. एंड अभी हम लोग यही शो पे डिस्कस कर रहे थे few minutes ago कि ये जो ज़िंदगी का जो ये सफ़र है, जिसके अंदर आप जब ये रियलाइज़ कर लें कि ये एक जर्नी है, और आप you're just going to keep flowing forward, and फिर जो भी चीज़ें आए, obstacles, people hurting you, people breaking your heart, but आप उन सबको अपने से दूर रखना आप सीख जाएंगे. Where no matter what anyone says, it doesn't, it comes, and आपके इर्द गिर्द एक शील्ड है, और वो शील्ड को आके हिट करके and it bounces off you. And I think it's very difficult to reach that point, but again ये एक जर्नी है. इस जर्नी के अंदर मेरी खुद की ये कोशिश है to reach that point where I have this strong shield around me. Actually, I do have that shield around me, Kalpana, but when the hit comes from
It's so hard and so
people who are close to you and you weren't expecting it, तो वो फिर it's like आप सारे shake up हो जाते हो, right?
But it also happens sometimes. I've seen it personally. If you don't react at that time and you just be quiet, that person might come back and apologize, or at least talk about it. That I'm sorry, I did this. I mean, they may not use the term sorry, but they will at least acknowledge how their emotions were. It happens too.
मैं रिएक्ट करती हूँ, एंड मेरे लिए बेटर होता है कि जब अगर मैं किसी सिचुएशन से दूर रहूँ, तो मैं उस वक्त नहीं उस वक्त मेरे लिए उसको प्रोसेस करने के लिए मुझे वक्त मिल जाता है.
Welcome back to the show. आप सुन रहे हैं रेडियो कैरवान, only on your favorite radio station, 104.1 FM and 700 AM. And this program is called Heart to Heart, which comes every Thursday, 1 to 3 p.m. only on your favorite radio station, Radio Caravan. With me, the one and only Saloni RJ Kalpana, and my beautiful co-host.
This is Saima Dillon, and let's touch lives together.
Now that we have we're discussing about this anger for the last 2 weeks. Now it's time to discuss how we can transform this energy, because these emotions, every emotion that inside us are the seed and their energy. how we can transform them so it does not affect us also and the people around us, especially the close relations that we are into, and we don't devastate them as well. Like how today she experienced a situation, Saima, somebody lashed at her, ranted her, or whatever. Probably they might be thinking whatever they're thinking, and they think that they're in a supreme place. And then if you want to go higher in the hierarchy and keep using the words which is not useful, which is not necessary, which could have been transformed into something better, but it happened. So I'm sure it might have affected them also, if they think about it. But it also depends on us how much we're going to consume them and how long we're going to consume them. The only thing is, do not talk to them. Do not think too much of that 5 minute situation that happened, and do not draw into that energy for a longer period of time. Keep yourself busy and take your time. It's okay to get upset, like you always say. It's okay to get upset. We are human beings. We have emotions, but it's not okay to remain upset for a longer period of time. Talk to them if necessary. If it works, at least you have conveyed how you felt after receiving that energy, which was not necessary, could have been handled in a different way.
Because I mean, when I close my eyes, I feel there's a shift in my energy, which was in a really positive
That's mindfulness.
place,
Yes.
right? And वो एनर्जी जो उस कप के अंदर भरी हुई थी, एंड इट्स लाइक वो कप को शेक किया गया, तो बहुत सारी वो सारी एनर्जी was shaken up, right? And now you're trying to bring the energy back together, and ताकि वो फिर से एक ठहराव के अंदर आ जाए और एक peaceful stance के अंदर आप आ जाओ. And but that's why it is important to guard that energy of yours, because stay away from toxic people, stay away from people who ruffled you, who shake you, who वो लोग जो आपकी मदद नहीं करना चाहें कि आप अपना कप भर सको. हो सकता है कभी लोगों के difficult moments होते हैं, you might catch someone at a bad time too.
But every time you cannot stay away from people if you label them as a toxic, because it's very hard, especially if they are within your family. You cannot always avoid them. What you can do is you can avoid the situation rather than avoiding the people. क्योंकि जब भी गुस्सा आता है तो एक बात तो ध्यान रखें कि उस वक्त जब आपको गुस्सा आ रहा हो किसी भी बात पे, तो उस वक्त कोई काम ना कीजिए. मतलब एक ठहराव लेकर आइए, जैसा मैंने कहा कि जस्ट वो एक कप है जो शेक हो गया था, just go for a walk, do breathing, listen to music, whatever you love, just cooking. उसके बाद भी अगर आपका इमोशन प्रोसेस नहीं हो पा रहा है, तो then definitely do talk to them. Do not leave them, do not ignore them, because then it will be red flags. It will going to just burst out some of the situation. फिर वो पैकेज लेकर आओगे बैकपैक, उस वक्त आपने ऐसे किया था, उस वक्त ये किया था. सो टाइम पे आई थिंक बहुत ज़रूरी होता है बात पे. और ये बात जो है स्पेशली साउथ एशियन कम्युनिटीज़ में, इवन आई थिंक आई वुडंट से जस्ट वन कम्युनिटी, आई थिंक पीपल जस्ट कीप थिंग्स कि कभी और बात कर लेंगे, लेकिन just keep talking about I felt like this, and just say I felt like this. Do not say you did this. I felt like this more important than saying that you did this, because then you're actually pointing out other person behavior. No, you're just pointing at your own emotion, how you have received it. I felt like this. That's more important. और शायद पहला कम्युनिकेशन ठीक ना जाए, दूसरा कम्युनिकेशन ठीक ना जाए. ऐसा तो नहीं कि आप बार बार बात करोगे कि कभी भी ठीक ना जाए. देन अगेन इट्स अ डिफरेंट थिंग टू थिंक अबाउट इट. लेकिन कभी भी गुस्से में ईमेल मत दीजिए, ईमेल को सेंड मत कीजिए, फोन उठा के बात मत कीजिए. हमेशा just कहते हैं ना कि just count 1 to 10, just do that, and 1 to 10 is nothing but just diverting that emotion into doing something different.
But so what I have discovered for myself is that कि अगर कोई चीज होती है और मैं अगर उस वक्त react करूं, तो it's an instant reaction which could be good or bad. बट अगर कोई मेरे से दूर है और उस जगह पे नहीं है, और अगर फ़ोन था और आप उसको रख सकते हैं, एंड यू आर एबल टू गेट अवे फ्रॉम द सिचुएशन, सो यू कैन काम डाउन. तो मैं अपने आप को फोर्स करती हूँ नॉट टू रिएक्ट इमीडिएटली, एंड आई फोर्स माई सेल्फ टू dwell over it, sometimes 1 day, 2 days, sometimes even longer. If the closer the person, the bigger the impact, right? So मैं उस चीज को फिर प्रोसेस. बट आई हैव ऑल्सो, दिस इज समथिंग कल्पना, my daughters have taught me, and that is that communication is key. I can't keep all my emotions just bottled up inside because then they explode. I have to channel them out. Communication is key, even with friends, even with relatives, even with people. अगर कोई चीज़ bother कर रही है तो it is important. मेरे parents इस वक्त मेरे साथ हैं, and मेरी mom, वो कभी obviously she is now in her 70s, so वो react कर जाती हैं या अगर कुछ बोल देती हैं, and she has blood pressure and what not, तो वो कभी उनको पता भी नहीं होता बाद में. She'll be like, I didn't say that, and but she had. But चीज़ ये है कि अगर मैं उसी वक्त उनके साथ कुछ उनको बताने की कोशिश करूं तो that is not the right time to create that awareness. तो उस वक्त I just let it go, I walk away from there. फिर बाद में I'm like, अम्मी आप इस तरह जब करती हैं तो इसका ये है, या उस तरह ये, और आप फील कर रही हैं कि आपने ये बोला नहीं है, but you did, and आप जब गुस्से में इस तरह बोल देती हैं तो ऐसे या वैसे, तो वो कामली जब आप उस चीज़ को हैंडल कर देते हो तो वो बहुत अच्छे तरीके से वो एक चीज़ रिजॉल्व हो जाती है. बट दे से इट टेक्स टू टू टैंगो, राइट? तो बोथ पीपल हैव टू बी ओपन एंड विलिंग टू हैव दैट डिस्कशन.
लेकिन अब अपना स्टेप जो है ज़रूर कोशिश कीजिए, क्योंकि यू आर ट्राइंग टू you're not liking, obviously it just appears that you don't like the situation what happened, so it's always easy समय जब हम किसी से बात करते हैं ना, आपको कैसा फील हुआ वो बात कीजिए, क्योंकि this was of course this was your mom, लेकिन हमेशा क्या होता है कभी कभी रिलेशन में जब आप कहोगे आपने ऐसे किया था तो शायद वो इंसान सुने ना सुने, दे माइट बी इन डिनायल, लेकिन अगर आप ऐसा कि मुझे ऐसा फील हुआ आपके बोलने के बाद, तो दिस इज व्हाट आई फेल्ट इट, सो हो सकता है कि may change the trajectory eventually, but I think we're just trying to do these methods to see things in a different perspective, so we can just preserve this relation in a better way instead of just avoiding those people, क्योंकि हम हर लोगों को avoid नहीं कर सकते.
You cannot, but interaction is important,
interaction
right?
is very important. Communication and way of communication, again communication is a wide spectrum, and how you communicate is a different things. I think this is something we need to learn every day, because होते कैसा है ना कि especially because we have moved on to just women program to everybody, because हमारे studio में काफी लोग call करते हैं, they also want us to listen, talk about their issues as well, regardless of the gender. तो होता है कि बाज़ दफ़ा जो हैं लोग women को, they raise them to be perfect. Do not raise your child to be perfect. Raise them to be the brave. Raise them to communicate properly. Raise them to, if you don't like anything, how you can communicate instead of just shutting the person off. You cannot shut everybody around you. You can be just like David, how he was lonely, and then he was in so much pain emotionally. So we don't want to end up like a David or Angelina, but instead that we need to teach our children how to communicate. Do give an opinion, and this just leave for some time for the other person to process it.
I mean, my kids are teaching me communication. I was pretty, awful at it, and they have been forcing me and communicate, talk about things, and I think हम लोगों की especially community में आदत नहीं है communication की. We shut ourselves. We think the way for there to be peace is to shut yourself off.
Right.
But that is not, because उसके अंदर उसके अंदर barriers आ जाते हैं. आप अपने आप को just even between spouses, right? जब आप shut off अपने आप को करने लगते हैं, right? तो but वो आपकी दूरियां बढ़नी शुरू हो जाती हैं, और फिर आप इतना एक दूसरे के साथ दूर हो जाते हो कि then that it no longer matters.
Right, and that's very important, because red flags you need to definitely address them time to time. आप छोड़ नहीं सकते बार बार, कहीं ना कहीं पे वो पॉप अप हो ही जाती है. Again, like you said, कोई भी इमोशन जब अंदर जाता है तो उसे किसी ना किसी तरह से ट्रांसफॉर्म होना पड़ता है, या फिर अंदर ही अंदर जो वो कंज्यूम कर लेता है, खा लेता है. तो even when I went last week after doing the show on Thursday, many of my friends called, and then even when I went to a party, many people have said that it is a beautiful show and it is such an eye-opener on certain things which we know, Saima, but sometimes we don't look into that area and look into that matter. So it's really nice, and when even the people who call right now who don't want to come on air, really appreciate that you are listening. And something, it's even even हम जब कोई बात सुनते हैं, even 5% effect होता है ना, तो I think काफी होता है, because you are learning to do something different. That is what is the more important thing than anything else.
Absolutely. This is a song by Rahat Fateh Ali. So hopefully you enjoy it. I won't play the whole thing, but here goes.
So, my Facebook friends, if you want to share anything, how you have felt in the past or anytime, people around you, like we were mentioning the analogy of David and Angelina, how they, people around you could be self-centered, they could be arrogant, and they might be lashing out at you, and you receive this energy which affects you so much, and how you feel it. Do you consume it for a longer period of time, or you just want to talk with that person, or you want to create a shield around you which is actually going to protect your inner soul? That introspecting yourself is more important, and communication again is a big spectrum. How you communicate, the mode of communication, time to time, addressing those red flags in relationship is very important, and something that I'm practicing in every day. And I enjoy this journey. I think that's more important is happiness. Again, like this book Thich Nhat Hanh mentions that happiness is not a destination. It's not something you find at the end of the road. It is something, it's now. It's something you feel you need to enjoy during your journey. That's more important. And if you want to share anything, please comment something on Facebook Live, or you can call the studio, which is 214-817-3333.
So, Zinat, कैसी हैं आप? Zulfikar, thank you for watching. आप लोगों का बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. Thank you for being here. The show is coming to an end. We come to you every Thursday from 1 to 3 p.m. And, ये अभी रमज़ान का महीना चल रहा था. And it is getting ready to come to an end in a few days. And next week, you know, we will talk about something happy. We'll see what that is going to
We can
be.
talk about ikigai, or we can talk of many things to speak about.
Yeah,
And
something
yeah,
positive, something
something
good. We'll
positive,
be
yeah.
celebrating Eid on Monday. And so, about Istafa, the kids, in case schools, um, इनके schools जो हैं, they will end earlier.
Earlier, 25th, right?
For us, they will be ending on the 20th, I think, 19th
wow.
or 20th. So, which also means that schools will start early as well. And so, yeah, it's just, life goes on. And I just feel कि अपनी खुद के लिए just do good things, put goodness out there. जो भी अच्छी चीज़ डाल सकते हैं दुनिया में, उस अच्छी चीज़ को दुनिया में डालें. मुझे भी किसी का मैसेज आ रहा था, कल्पना, and she so she got divorced the first time, and then I believe she got married second time, and then second time marriage key, and there were problems happening, and she had started messaging, and she was going through a lot of depression and anxiety and trauma, because she's like, ये मेरी second marriage है, लोग क्या कहेंगे. तो उनको किसी, she was suffering so much, but उनकी primary उनको जो चीज़ हर्ट कर रही थी कि मेरी सेकंड मैरिज है, अगर ये ख़त्म होती है तो लोग क्या कहेंगे. And she was like, so I stopped meeting with people, and I have a women empowerment group called Women of Noor on Facebook, and she has been a member on the group for many years. And so when she started messaging me, she messaged me because I was sharing my own journey, and it gave her hope, and it gave her
Right. It's just
support,
about
and
helping, yeah, each
it,
other.
it
That's
made her
right.
feel, okay, you know what, I'm not alone. And so I told her, you know what, you need to first of all seek help. You need to seek help for your depression. You need to see a psychiatrist. You need to see a counselor that you can talk to and who can give you guidance. You need medication, even if not long term. You need medication that can boost you and
Right.
lift your mood and your spirit, so you can get up on your feet, go out, look for a job, to be able to, rebuild yourself. And so she just messaged me, and she was like, I told her, go out. There are groups for people where you can just go out and you can just do anything. So she just messaged me. She said, you know what, I went out dancing, and I went
That's
out on
good.
my own. And I was really hesitant because I don't know Western dancing, but I went out, and people came and they
Right.
just supported me, and I just feel so good. And that's what it's about. It's about taking that, finding that courage to take that first
That
step, because
moment to, yeah,
that's
transform
it.
that. Yeah.
Once you take that leap of faith and you believe in yourself, then that right there, that belief in yourself, it's life changing.
Absolutely, that's true.
So hope you enjoyed that, Sanu Iqbal Chen Naave. So yeah, it was kind of some soft music, and Rahat Fateh Ali and Nusrat Fateh Ali, and there was a A.R. Rahman song in there as
And
well.
plus the mindfulness.
Absolutely. So हम
Right.
यही discuss कर रहे थे कि someone had reached out to me, and she was very lonely, and she was going through depression and anxiety, and she's gone through a divorce, and then she got remarried, and she was going through marital problems with the second marriage. So here's what the thing is कि किसने ये लिखा हुआ है, या पत्थर, कौन से पत्थर के ऊपर ये लिखा हुआ है कि एक दफा अगर आप शादी करते हैं तो ये it has to work. Because you know what, people change over the years. What you were when you were in your teens, when you were in your 20s, you're not supposed to be that person when you reach your 40s. I mean, आप दरगुजर करते रहते हो, but if there's just too much emptiness, if you're living different tracks के ऊपर आप चल रहे हैं, and there's nothing there, and you're feeling so miserable and unhappy, I mean, it's okay for you to go a different route. It's okay for you to um, जब तक इस दुनिया में हैं हम कल्पना, I feel it is just absolutely imperative for us to seek happiness and to be at peace with ourselves.
Right, the joy, and even this sometimes your joy um, could be the source of your smile. But the deep thing to think about is sometimes your smile could be the source of your joy. They're interconnected because they're a little different. They sound kind of same, but they're very deep into understand. So it's the joy that everybody is looking about, seeking to see. तो ये जो खुशी है, ये जो happiness है, जो आप ढूंढ रहे हो, जो आपके अंदर ही मौजूद है, तो इसको ढूंढने के लिए हम जो है इंसान के रिश्तों में ढूंढते हैं, और जब वो रिश्ते ठीक से नहीं हो मिलते, क्योंकि अगेन अटैचमेंट, एक्सपेक्टेशन, ये सारी चीज़ें होती हैं. इट्स नथिंग रॉन्ग इन हैविंग एक्सपेक्टेशन, लेकिन किस हद तक आप एक्सपेक्टेशन कर रहे हो, कितना आप कम्युनिकेट कर रहे हो अपने एक्सपेक्टेशंस, और कब आप फुल स्टॉप लगा रहे हो अपने एक्सपेक्टेशन में, ये बहुत ज़रूरी होता है. और ये सीखने की ज़रूरत है. जिस तरह से हमने लास्ट में भी कहा था कि जैसे अभी सबके हाथों में स्मार्टफोन है, और हम स्मार्टफोन को हर दूसरे तीसरे हफ्तों में हम अपडेट करते हैं, तो उसी तरह हमें अपने आप को भी अपडेट करना है. अपडेट करने की ज़रूरत भी बहुत है, क्योंकि आजकल ये जो इमोशंस है, एंग्जाइटी, स्ट्रेस, कितना काम बढ़ चुका है, आसपास बहुत कुछ चल रहा है. लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स आर कमिंग अप, न्यू थिंग्स आर कमिंग अप, एंड यू वांट टू अचीव ऑल दोस थिंग्स, एंड देयर इज सो मच कंपटीशन गोइंग ऑन. और इसमें अगर अपने आप को आप अपग्रेड नहीं करोगे, तो ये रेस में आप चलते रहोगे. And this race, I don't want this race to be a road rage or anything. And so instead of self-harming yourself mentally or physically,
Yes.
it's always good to just introspect yourself. और ये जो इमोशन एंगर है, इसका एक ही तरीका है कि एंगर का माइंडफुलनेस ब्रीदिंग, माइंडफुलनेस वॉकिंग, एंड थिंकिंग अबाउट योर सेल्फ. ये जो इमोशन है, इस किस तरह से हम इसको ट्रांसफॉर्म कर सकते हैं. जैसे हम बता रहे थे कि जैसे गैराज में छोटा सा हीटर होता है, राइट, एंड हीटर का काम है कि पानी गर्म करके जब भी हमें ज़रूरत पड़े हम नल घुमाएं और वो गर्म पानी ठंडा पानी आ जाए, तो वहाँ पे हीट है, बट दैट्स इन अ बैलेंस्ड वे। तो इस तरह से हमारे अंदर भी वो सीड ऑफ एंगर है, लेकिन इट्स ओनली गोइंग टू ओपन टू ट्रांसफॉर्म आवरसेल्फ इन अ बेटर वे। कितनी बार आपने देखा कि
Absolutely.
जब आप गुस्से में होते हो तो आप बहुत सारे काम कर लेते हो, क्योंकि इफ यू एंड योर हस्बैंड आर फाइटिंग एंड यू जस्ट गो एंड डू अ लॉट ऑफ अदर थिंग्स व्हिच वर पेंडिंग बिफोर, so sometimes this energy, that energy of anger is helping you to do some certain things. So these people who are upon you, who you think that they're upon you, we are victims of our mind, and एक तो बात है. So we need to learn to transform this same energy instead of destroying ourselves.
So the thing here is कि बहुत सारे ये सब इमोशंस हमारे अंदर है, डिप्रेशन, एंजाइटी, सैडनेस, राइट? जिनकी मैं अभी थोड़ी सी देर पहले बात कर रही थी, उन्होंने मुझे, आई मीन शी इज़ लाइव विद मी राइट नाउ, एंड आई एम लुकिंग एट हर मैसेजेस, एंड शी जस्ट सेंट मी दिस मैसेज, एंड शी सेड दैट just want to thank you very much for offering me your shoulder to cry on at the time when I was at the verge of falling deep. I read your story, felt like it resonated with mine, and called you without any hesitation, and you were right there for me. So, I mean, I just feel, I feel so much inner joy that, she was at a really bad point when she messaged, and she actually called me on Facebook Messenger, and मैं usually वो नहीं उठाती हूँ because, but anyways, and it was just, I answered and I spoke to her for like 15 minutes, and हर चीज के बाद एक बात जो है वो ये है कि योर हैप्पीनेस कम्स फ्रॉम विद इन यू. तो नो मैटर आप दुनिया में किस तरफ भी देखें, किसी की तरफ भी देखें, yes, we all need a support system. You all need those friends, you all need people who are there for you in your time of darkness, and they give you a little push, and they just tell you, hey, you know what, I'm there for you. ये words इतने powerful हैं, and they were life changing for me when a friend did that for me. And it does come from within you, but yes, the tools are out there, to go out and see a psychiatrist, to get on medication, to go out and visit with counselors weekly. They help you channel your thoughts, your emotions. There are these tools. There are so many meetup groups which are out there. There are meetup groups for single people. You can go out there, you can interact, you can go and meet different people. It feels good to go out. It feels good that you're being appreciated, and these things matter. Magar, you are the only one who holds the key to changing your life and to rewriting your story. Only you can do it.
Because see, everybody have a different story, everybody has a story to say. They may think that कि मेरी स्टोरी अलग है, आप मेरी स्टोरी नहीं समझ सकते हैं, तो ज़रूरी नहीं है कि हमें आपकी स्टोरी समझ आए और ना समझे, लेकिन आपको अपनी स्टोरी पता है, और दुनिया में सबकी अलग अलग स्टोरीज हैं. लेकिन the only thing is कि no matter whatever your story is, you cannot consume in that story for a long time. That story will change today, tomorrow it could be a different story, but how long you're going to remain in that story and consume your emotions into it, that's more important. And we are social animal, we are born to just have make relationship, and then we're not going to be here, and we know what happens when we are lonely. We feel very sad, these emotions come up and then pop up, the sad emotion of sadness and all that. So we are social animals, it's good to make relationship around you, but we also need to make sure that we need to just protect the relationship, not only by protecting ourselves but also protecting certain things which we can actually avoid and stop the war before it happens.
So आपको पता नहीं चलता कि आप कब किस इंसान के लिए वसीला बन जाए, आप किस पॉइंट के ऊपर किसके लिए टर्निंग पॉइंट. मैं फ्राइडे को आई वेंट एंड आई टू माय डॉटर्स म्यूजिक क्लास, और वहाँ पर म्यूजिक टीचर की बर्थडे थी इन डैलस डाउनटाउन, एंड वहाँ पे आई मेट दिस अमेजिंग Jewish woman who was there, and she was a pastor in her church, and she started sharing all this wisdom with me. So and अभी मुझे जिससे मैं फेसबुक पे बात कर रही हूँ, उसने भी मुझे अभी ये मैसेज भेजा कि I met a Jewish lady at the dance and she was God sent like you were, such a beautiful soul. So you just don't know, right? But you just don't know आप किस point पे किसकी life change करें. And with that, we are coming to an end, and we're going to end our.
This is Kalpana signing off today, and we have Aparna coming after us with the daily chai.
So with that, the show comes to an end. It's up to you. You can become that
And my Facebook
that
friend, which is Kalpana,
shining
I'm also
light
signing off the
for
Facebook
someone
Live.
in someone's
Thank you
life,
for connecting with me
in
and
someone's life,
watching this program
and
and commenting. Some of my friends also
it's life
commented and
changing.
called the
I hope
studio.
you
Thank
take care
for
of
that.
yourself.
And we'll come up with
Early Eid
these
Mubarak
topics
to
again
all of
every
you,
Thursday. So
and
stay connected with us. Thank
stay
you.
blessed
Bye-bye.
and stay
blessed.
well. And we'll see you next week, Thursday. All right, signing off.